So there's 3 mausoleums in this little section right here. Actually 4, now that I'm looking the other way here, I'm spotting another one. So we're gonna check these out real quick. Absolutely epic looking mausoleum here. Looks like it's gonna be rough to get an interior view. I am going to try for you guys because it's just incredibly interesting to see inside of these, and a lot of times, just like we saw on the hill here, there are old pictures inside that give a little bit of a glimpse into these people's lives, and so I'm hoping that maybe we'll see some more here. But as you can tell with the door here, it's going to be incredibly hard. We actually can get a fairly decent view of the inside. Oh, another really interesting mausoleum. Not incredibly different from what we've seen before, but it seems to me to be a little bit bigger. However, the weird thing is when you look inside, it's actually a lot shallower than what I'm used to seeing. But there are a lot, well, not a lot of burials, but a lot of places for them. Seems like, again, a lot of them seem to end up going unused. You can see a few urns have been left on the shelves. So they may have not actually engraved those people's names on any of the stones. I'm not always sure of the story behind certain things like this. However, I find it interesting that it almost seems like most mausoleum stories turn out this way, and that somebody who had a lot of money built a really amazing place and expected a lot of family members to want to be buried there, and for whatever reason they just did not have that same desire. Apparently somewhere there's a Gothic chapel. I really would love to find that. This is kind of interesting. And here's a older bench style marker here. Really interesting looking how it's decayed. It actually looks far more broken down than it really is. You can see it's actually designed in this shape, but because of all the growth on it, it actually looks as if it's kind of falling apart. But there really isn't a huge gap. Ooh, is this another Woodman of the World monument here? It kind of looks that way. They're rarely marked though. See, this person was actually born in Germany. It's almost too familiar to not be a Woodman of the World creation. And in fact, it wouldn't be the first time that I've seen one designed to look like a pile of firewood. So I would assume again that it is a Woodman of America monument, but like usual, it is just not marked. And this mausoleum looks really neat. It looks like there's gonna be some incredibly large stained glass. I'm hoping to get a good view. The door does look a little bit problematic, but really, really amazing. Whoa. Lots of stuff in here. It's like some poetry even. And a lot of people are actually buried in this one. How cool is that? Alright, just got out of the car, and once again I found this little hot spot here. You can see this incredibly large, or I should say tall headstone. Or I don't even know if you really call it a headstone, I guess it's a monument at that point. It's probably about 40 feet high, something like that. And I found over here this really cool area. Look at this statue here. And this is the grave of Eli Lilly, and also Ruth Allison Lilly. And that name is actually fairly famous. If you have ever heard of Eli Lilly, you probably know it as the pharmaceutical company, and it is headquartered right here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And so I would assume that this is the founder of that company. It is not marked as such, but I would say it's probably unlikely that it is not that way. And immediately up these stairs here is the family's mausoleum. I didn't notice it right away. Again, nothing stating exactly who he was, but there's really only one famous Eli Lilly. And on the other side of the street, we have yet another amazing looking mausoleum. Some really incredibly colored stone here. This one, whoa, is really sealed up though. See, not even a chance of getting a glimpse inside unless there is a window that is not stained glass. I still love checking these out though, if only because of the amazing looking doors. I'm not sure exactly, kind of looks like it's a cement slab, I'm guessing. Well, it's not looking likely that we're going to get any sort of view of the interior. Although there is some stained glass in the back. It is just unfortunately not gonna be possible to get a view inside. But worth a try, and again, with such elaborate and beautiful construction, it's just never a waste to come and check them out. Okay, I'm gonna keep making my way this way. There's a couple really cool statues that I wanna check out and maybe take some still images of. And there's also at the very end of this row here, whoa, and look at that incredibly precarious looking branch there. But anyway, at the end of this row here is another really awesome looking mausoleum, and I've seen one similar to it before, but again, the insides are usually fairly unique, so I'd like to try and get a look at that. Whoa, these here are really messed up. You can see there's been quite a bit of erosion and as a result, these stones have really been moved out of place. The strange thing is with these almost look like they were kind of intended to be put like this. Over here, you can see that one and the Lillian Hoffman stone look to have moved over time, and same thing with the Stella B. Church and Alva R. Hoffman stone here. It seems to have been the work of erosion, but I'm not sure about these. Really awesome black SUV here that seems to be checking on me every few minutes. Although what's weird is it seems to be just a family that's like driving around and taking it upon themselves to like look at me. Although I maybe just be hitting some same spots as them. I'm thinking they might be checking out the presidential gravesite themselves, and then this memorial here. So I'm not incredibly sure what they're doing, but they have pulled up behind me several times and slowed down. But again, looking inside the car, it just seems to be a family of people. This is a really touching memorial here. Let's check this out real quick, and then we'll get an interior shot of the mausoleum over there. This is just so incredible. I really love this, and the artwork here. And this whole cemetery is just a really amazing place, and so many memorials and famous graves and mausoleums to see. It's just something to take in, and again, that's why I'm saying it's just going to be probably a 3-part series. And look behind me once again. You can see the black SUV is turned all the way around to come and slow down again. It's pretty dark on the inside, so I hope that this is providing some adequate lighting to show you guys what's in there, but it's going to be one of the harder ones to show everybody. So once again, even though it kind of looked similar to things that I had seen before, I'm really glad that I took the chance to check it out because it had some very unique stuff in there. So this stone here has been turned into a monument, and it's kind of hard to tell if it was placed here or maybe the family just chose to engrave a nearby stone. You can see even in these larger places with a bigger budget, some of the stones still managed to fall by the wayside. I think I finally have shook the black SUV that seems to have made a hobby out of following me today. I'm hoping it was just a coincidence. It was kind of strange that they were going the exact same directions as me, like 3 or 4 different times, and instead of stopping to look at some of the grave sites and memorials, they seemed to stop in places that made it easy to check up on me. Right ahead, it looks like a monument, and I see some sort of copper structure on top of it, but it looks really, really unique and like something I haven't really seen before. So I wanted to come over here and check it out before I hop in the car and drive to some of the other hot spots in this area. Wow. Okay, so I'm on the back side, or it looks like, anyway. All the names are on this side, but when we get around, you see that it opens up into like a bench that family members could use to sit down at and visit with their loved ones and admire whatever plants were put in this giant pot here. How cool is this? And look how elaborate it is too. Whoa. That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And from the looks of it, there is definitely people still coming out here, and I can see there's some recent burials, so the family is definitely still using this, even though a lot of these dates go way back into the 1800s. But it appears the latest date of burial was actually in the 2000s, so it's incredible how many generations of families have actually used this monument and still in use to this very day. And again, something that I don't think I've ever stumbled upon, or if I have, I have not noticed it.